CIO News. I'm Khushbu Soni, your host and chief editor at CIO News. This is an exclusive fireside chat powered by Avaya on transformation through customer experience. Businesses are built by the experiences they provide, and every day millions of those experiences are delivered by Avaya. Avaya is changing what's next for the future of work with innovation and partnership that deliver game-changing business benefits. This is a recorded session and will be available on our CIO News website, that is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn. Let me dive in introducing our guest for today. He is Mr. Anshul Dalela, Head Customer Service at PNB Housing. Anshul is a competent and a versatile professional with experience of developing and leading highly effective and successful work teams, and has proven track record in managing organizational complexities and business uncertainties. Anshul has great experiences of spanning 17 years in banking and finance sector. He has rich and comprehensive and functional exposure to the entire gamut of retail, banking, and financial services, ranging from product design, development, service operations, credit risk, the audit, and systems. He has expertise in solutions delivery aimed to streamline and optimize process. Welcome, Anshul. It's an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on this session.
It's a great pleasure, Anshul. Along with me today is Adarsh Kaul. He is the Chief Marketing Officer at Avaya and also a moderator for today's session. Avaya is, as I mentioned, are one of the sponsors for this series. Adarsh basically has rich experience in business marketing and is a specialist with a strong mix of strategy, analytics, and creative experience in his proven history of working in the IT and telecom industry. He's a people person with over 20 years of expertise in leadership, communication, marketing management, customer acquisition, CRM, relationship management, partner management, and enterprise software. Welcome, Adarsh.
Thank you, Khushbu. Seriously, that means a lot, and the way you put it up, I actually felt nice about myself for a minute. But thank you very much for this. Anshul, thank you for joining in, and I'm going to straight away rush into this. First of all, thank you for taking your time for doing this, Anshul. I know times are difficult, and at the end of the day, heading such a business line across in one of the largest conglomerates that the country has seen, and probably one of the most adaptive organizations in news almost on a daily basis should be difficult for you. But having said that, thank you for doing this for us. Out here, Anshul, I'd just like you to give us like a little rundown across on a day for Anshul. How does a day for Anshul, how does a month for Anshul look like? What's your daily work schedules? What are the kind of pressures that you run across, and how do you kind of tackle them across? And do you actually hold your head when you go back home, or are you actually a satisfied and a smiling man when you go back home? So those are kind of things that I'd really love if you could point that out, because that's interesting for us to know. I'd like to start with that.
So I think the question which you had asked was about a typical day, or how does a day of mine as a head of the customer service and branch operations happen, and how does it pan out during the day. So I was telling you that as far as PNB Housing is concerned, we are into a business of providing housing loans to the customers, and housing loan being a very engaging and being a very sort of a passionate kind of a product. It is probably one of the biggest financial decisions that a customer and individual takes during his lifetime. It is a very something which is close to the heart of the customer, and because we are operating in a very undifferentiated market, the product per se is pretty much available in a similar form, something here or there. Otherwise it is not very differentiated when it comes to a housing loan. So that makes customer service the pillar and the key sort of differentiator, as to say, between institutions. we have about 100 odd housing finance companies and similar number of banks and other cooperative banks which are operating across the length and breadth. The product is pretty much similar across the board. Interest rates do make a very important part of the decision. But primarily, it is the service that the customer gets and the service that we are able to put across to the customer. The ease with which he is able to negotiate, the ease with which he is able to get his documents done, and documentation done. So that actually drives the customer decisions and the customer satisfaction also. Customer service has been at the center of our product proposition and our strategy. So that is the reason we though we are spread across all the 95 odd branches which across the length and breadth of the countries of the country, we are all sewn together through a common CRM system. So there is a common CRM system which we use across all the branches. Every transaction that the customer gets or customer puts across is recorded in form of interaction. The branches, we have as I told you, we have an inbound contact center, a 43-seater inbound contact center, which supports the customers, who want to operate or who want to come across through electronic channels and the non-brick and mortar structure. We have a customer portal mobile app which is there. So all these come together, and all these provide the complete service structure to the customer. So a typical day of mine, so we have tried to actually, we actually thrive on the voice of customer. And at every point in time, we are wanting to collect the feedback from the customer as to what customer is saying about us. We are very sensitive to the customer feedback. So a typical day would start with the monitoring the various parameters which we have laid down for the customer service. Various volumes, which are there, the volume of interactions coming in through various channels, the turnaround times, the quality of feedback, and wherever it is required, we take a intervention, and we take a sort of a step, towards improving that. Apart from that, I'm also taking care of the branch operations piece. Housing finance is a very regulated business in the country. And recently in February 2021, we have actually moved under the purview of Reserve Bank of India. Earlier, we were being governed by National Housing Bank, which again was an arm of Reserve Bank of India, but a separate entity. So now the regulations are a bit different. There is a continuity, but yeah, there are certain more stringent requirements which have come across since we have gone into the fold of Reserve Bank of India. So there are various audits which keep on happening. There is a concurrent audit which is there. There is an internal audit which is there. Every aspect of the operations, though on one side we have to be, providing the seamless and excellent service to the customer. On the other side, we also have to have the legal and the compliance aspects into place, so as to be on the right side of the regulator. So those again, there are various parameters which come into the picture, monitoring of that. Branch visits, branch scores, audit scores. There is so all these are things which keep on during the day. You keep on monitoring, and you keep on trying to innovate to find out and to standardize processes across the country. So the customer, the regulator is also very sensitive about customer escalations which come into the picture. So we have customer interactions coming to us from social media, coming to us from the regulator, coming from senior management. So all those have to be responded and have to be resolved to the customer satisfaction. So we have a separate division, a separate sort of a unit which takes care of the customer escalations part of it. So all the escalations have to be resolved in a particular stipulated turnaround time, and any kind of learning which comes through, because customer escalations, unless until you learn from it, you tend to repeat again and again. So that is another part of so my domain and my what every day you are actually trying to improve on the satisfaction and on the experience that the customer is having. Nowadays, we are also, collections is a very critical aspect of our business, and collections more often than not. There are instances and there are cases where the customer experience leads or actually has some bearing on the collection interaction that is there. So we are using analytics, and we are using various tools which are available in order to analyze the customer, analyze and preempt the customer behavior. So what kind of a customer behavior would lead into a sort of a default going forward, or what is the intervention which is required to actually take the customer back and roll it back into a regular. So those and what are the channels that the customer would be preferring, in order for us to engage with him, and so that he also is regular, and we also have a clean account on our books. So there, the analytics part, really is, we are trying to develop the whole model around it, and we are also, succeeding, in getting that, implemented. So that's what keeps on. So right from the morning till evening, it is the customer which actually drives, my day, and that's how it goes.
Well, Anshul, this is definitely a job that I don't want to do. I'm sorry, man. This is this is tons of work for any person. But what you did was you actually stole my list of questions by just one answer. I'm not lying to you. I had actually lined up these questions across in my mind, but you kind of answered them all from a perspective. But I still have some more thoughts around this. So what you clearly said that you have multiple channels through which customers are coming in. My next set of questions is that what are the kind of digital channels that you're using right now? That's point one. Second, you said complete set of improvement by customer interactions. So I have a different thought out here. Are you guys actually working across as a set of CX heads? So, the fact that India has become customer centric has suddenly become a revelation to us that customer is king. At one point in time, India was never in the customer is king mode. But, suddenly with the advent of people like you who've come into the picture and you've suddenly started focusing on, is there like a group of, you know, Anshul Dalelas and Alak, people who are CX heads who sit across, who've created a parameter, who've kind of created some sort of a working functionary boundary on how CX should be operated. Do you have like parameters which you've laid out, which is industry standards, or do you find work across on that? That's one question. Second, of course, what are the kind of digital channels that PNB housing uses right now? And the biggest part out here that I want to understand is that is it dependent on people or is it dependent on technology? And let me rephrase my question out here. So, is there a lot of AI machine learning built into these responsiveness, or is it a people dependent storyline? So, are there warm bodies sitting and helping customers, or is there a AI ML which has been built into these channels? Which is my two-stage questions right now. All yours.
Uh, So, I'm not sure whether I'm answering in that order or not, but as far as the CX, CX parameters are concerned, CX, so in our company per se, in our, PNB Housing, we do have a detailed model which we use for measuring customer satisfaction and customer experience. We do have, customer voice of the customer, the feedback. So a product life cycle of a housing loan is divided into primarily three aspects. One is the onboarding aspect. The second is the sanction of the loan. And third is, the disbursement of the loan. And you can actually add the fourth, which is the post disbursement, experience of the post disbursement service that the customer gets. At all these four sections, or all these four areas, we have measurable customer feedback. We have measurable sort of customer satisfaction scores that we try to get on board. through various again through various digital channels and the physical channels and the digital channels which are available to us. Similarly, when it comes to any measuring the turnaround time, measuring the quality, and measuring the feedback, uh, we, as I told you, have a common CRM system which we use across all the channels. So whether the customer is approaching us through a web chat, the customer is approaching us through a toll-free call, or whether he is writing an email to us, whether he is coming to the walking into the branch, every interaction is recorded in our CRM system. And the CRM system is the common system which we actually also use as a ticketing system across various departments. So, at the click of a button, I can see what is the what is the requirement of the customer, which stage the requirement is as far as the fulfillment is concerned, what is the feedback that the customer has given under each stage. So that is how we measure the customer experience and the customer satisfaction at various stages. Now, as far as also, also there is a monthly sort of a scorecard which we sort of publish for all the branches, because we also want to monitor the geographical spread and the geographical the experience that the customer is getting in the physical, as well as so customer is based out of Chennai, or a customer based out of Delhi, they tend to react differently, and then they tend to expect also differently. So a person in Dehradun, would probably want more of in-branch service rather than digital, this thing. While as compared to a person who is there in Bangalore, who would actually want everything to be operated or to be done in a digital manner. So that's why we keep on. We also have a measuring score which varies from geography to geography, and that we again without and the inputs of in that scores are coming through independent system reports, not through any manual interventions. And that's how we check the geographical aspect of the customer satisfaction also. That is on that customer CX part. So as far as as far as the technology part is concerned, so we are providing all the channels which are possible to the customer. So the multi-channel approach that we had sort of embarked upon in 2016-17, so we have web, which is a web chat, which is available. So we have a mobile app. We have a web application which is there. Our mobile application is available on Android and iPhone both. We do have we do have a toll-free number, through which the customer can contact us. We have a centralized email, through which the customer can write to us at any point in time. Our IVR tree, which is available on our toll-free, that is a self-service option which is available to the customer. We do have on the acquisition side, we do have a chatbot which is available to provide a 24/7 kind of service to the customers. We are soon going to expand it, and we have already completed the initial aspects of it. The chatbot is also going to be available for the existing customers to take care of their the regular and the repetitive kind of queries and requests which are coming in. So the complete channel suite is there for the customer to approach us. And at the core of it is our CRM system. We are using Talisma as our CRM system, which is helped us to actually monitor and also record the customer journey, and also to keep a tab on the customer turnaround time. So that's the channels which are available. We are we have an automated dial-up. So if I talk about the inbound contact center, if a customer is because we on the monthly basis we are receiving somewhere close to about 70,000 interactions and 70,000 requests from our customers, both on these customers. These customers are on the loan side as well as deposit side. So we are primarily doing two products. One is the home loan, and the second product, which is less talked about, is basically deposit. We are a deposit-taking housing finance company. Deposits is also the second product that is there. These customers are approaching about 70,000 interactions we receive on a monthly basis. Uh, it is higher at this point in time because of again COVID related measures which are there from the regulators perspective, whether it is restructuring or moratorium which was there. So the last 12 months have been very high as far as customer interactions are concerned. Yeah, but all these 70,000 their requests, almost about 60% of these are being handled by non-branch channels, which is meaning that these 60% would be coming either through the toll-free number or through an email or through a web chat, and which are being serviced in a non sort of face-to-face kind of a manner. So to understand the as soon as the customer approaches us, the warm body who is sitting and who is in the inbound contact center, as soon as the customer is calling through the web chat or through email or through the toll free, the warm body gets sort of a snapshot of the customer's history. What are the things, how the customer has behaved, what is the background of the customer, what is the income strata. So the person, the warm body actually has a snapshot of who is dealing with, though in a non face-to-face environment, but still I'm able to judge the customer's requirements, and I'm able to sort of preempt what the customer is going to require, or customer's background. So that is the part where the singles view dashboard, which is now available to the warm body who is interacting with the customer, is is a point where we have used sort of AI tools to actually enable and to actually empower the warm body to interact customer in a more meaningful manner. Similarly, on the collection side, the various tools, the AI tools that we are using, when we are sending out voice blasters to the customers who have not paid. There also we use AI to actually find out so we have a bureau, we have a CIBIL or a bureau which is there. The bureau information we analyze and we capture the AI tools that are available. We use them to actually find out the nature that the customer is having. So the customer might be paying outside to the other institutions and not paying to us, or the customer may be paying to us but not to other institutions. So that kind of the artificial intelligence enables us to judge and to understand the customer behavior. And because there is not the one size does not fit all, so the collection strategy also has to be different from different kind of customers. So that is another area where we use artificial intelligence to our to our use, and to interact and to engage with the customer. The third, area where we are using, and again, this is something which is still sort of a developing phase, is our pure credit appraisal process. The loan appraisal itself is something where right now it is a sort of a semi-digital way in which we appraise the customers. The customer, we are sort of linked to various partners which enable us to identify the customers, which enable us to identify customers' income, his social media footprints. It allows us to actually see what the customers, how the customer is supposed to behave or is potential to behave in future. So that is where AI actually helps us to judge and to take a more informed kind of a decision, in order to grant a loan to the customer.
Wow, this is good information. I'm happy that I did this chat. Matlab, whatever I post across on social media is going to get an impact across on my loan approvals, man, and that too through crawlers that you're going to put in. And so thank you, man. Seriously, it is actually eye-opening, and it's so amazing to see that you know this thing. I just have one last question, and that last question is primarily around what we're going through. The good part is that you and me are both sitting in office, but I know that 99% of the country is still working from home. And what you just spoke about is clearly a mix and a strong mix of tech going with people. And all of this tech will also be powered by people. How are you managing this while you and me are working from offices? Rather, the head of the business is working from office while most of your team would be working from home. How are you managing that given the situation right now? And I know you've
Mhm.
already answered that part that 60% of your calls are on digital channels or are
Yeah.
on channels apart from face to face. And clearly during the COVID mix time frame, you've got to jump across on the business line. So that's clearly that you've got more work to do. But
Sure.
how are you managing it this time frame from a customer interaction perspective?
Right from the first sort of lockdown which happened last year, and even during the second lockdown which happened this year, in both, somehow our IT infrastructure which we had invested in actually came to our help, and we were able to, be there for the customer, right from day one. When our branches were closed, and when we were operating, or even when we were operating in a thin sort of with thin manpower, even then also our alternate channels which I told you were available, and all the 40 contact center executives of ours were operating from their home. We were able to provide that kind of an access where a customer's call could be answered over through the customer calling the toll free could be answered to the by the agent who was operating from home. So that kind of ability we were able to provide. The mobile portal and the mobile app, as I told you, there that came into play, and almost about 30% of our interactions were coming through our mobile application and through our web application. So that's the whole digital infrastructure did help us, while help us and the customer. So for example, if I give you an example, the moratorium period, that was the time when actually almost about 30% of our customer base, and that is a sizable one, actually had to, or what, because we as a company, our strength lies in dealing with self-employed customers, and self-employed customers were the customers who were mainly impacted by the the COVID wave, both in the first round as well as the second round. The government, the measures which were available by the government, the COVID moratorium, that was a typical case where we had to actually, and where we were, with the help of our digital channels which were there, we were able to reach out to the customer and make them, make the various channels available to them to communicate to us. So almost about 60,000 customers, in the first round, they actually took moratorium, and we had all the options which are available, whether it was a missed call for a feature phone kind of a customer, or whether it was a web application for a person who was having access to internet, a mobile call, an application, mobile application. The multiple channels were provided to the customer to actually register their request for moratorium or restructuring, in the second phase. And we were able to, again, with the help of active communication, both two-side communication, customer giving us inputs, and we reaching out to the customer through digital medium, uh, uh, enabled us to actually serve these customers, and almost in a seamless manner, we were able to provide moratorium to about 68,000 odd customers. So those and a similar number when it comes to restructuring. So our customer base being more self-employed in nature, we were able to sort of use our channels and provide them service. As far as work from home is concerned, we are using Microsoft Teams as as a tool to actually engage with our staff, and having them ready and available for customer interactions. Plus, we also used the cloud platform to actually enable our core banking system, to the customers, to our employees rather. So the employees were able to access our systems right from their homes, and they were able to do the transactions and interactions with the customer was wanting. So yeah, I mean, when even today also there are some areas where we are operating in a 50% kind of a sort of strength. There also we have if we have enabled digital kiosks which are there in the branches, where a customer who is walking in or customer who is coming into the branch can actually interact over a video session with the employee or with the staff who is at home. So that kind of innovative and sort of required things we have been able to execute, and so that's how we have done it.
Bad man, sounds pretty interesting. And I know I said it was the last question, but I don't mind asking you one more because fairly come across as somebody who knows your business line. If I look at the space that you're operating in, and I'm sure their competition is the likes of HDFCs of the world and the ICICs of the world. How would you stack rank yourself from a number from 1 to 10 across on technology adoption and usage? Do you think that you've reached there, or you think that you still have way to go? And you may choose not to answer this question, but I just thought I'll pick your brains across on this one.
I don't have any qualms with, so again, it is not a one size fit all kind of a answer that I would give. So as I told you that, there are various stages that are there, and the digital tools and the digital, uptake is different at every stage of the customer life cycle. As far as PNB Housing is concerned, on the acquisition side, when we are onboarding our customer, there I think we have actually cracked it, and we are very much there as far as providing whether it is our video KYC enabled ACE platform, which is there for acquiring loan customers, or there is a online deposit platform which we are providing to our customers. On that front, we are fairly ahead of the curve, and to a certain extent ahead of the curve when we compare ourselves to the likes of SDFC and maybe ICICI also. So that digital acquisition is something which I think we have been able to master, and we have been able to provide that ability to the customer to engage with us digitally. On the disbursement side, when it comes to actually onboarding of the customer, there, because of the regulatory implications and because of the legal implications, because home loan is a fairly documented kind of a product. The IT Act of 2000 still does not allow you to to do away with wet signatures completely. There are negotiable instruments and power of attorney which has to be wet signed by the customer. There, a completely paperless thing has not been able to have happened, and we are moving towards that. But that is the area where actually we can do something. We can actually move ahead. Similarly, on the third aspect, which is post sale service, we have our mobile application, we have our multiple channels which are there. We are moving, and that is the third area is where actually the AI input, which is required, and where we can actually, as we are moving towards a sort of a predictive interaction with the customer, that is something where I think we have to put our money, and that is where I would say on a scale of 1:10, we are somewhere close to maybe about 7, wanting to go to 10. And maybe the likes of Bajaj or maybe ICICI are slightly ahead as far as a sort of a frank comparison is concerned. and we would definitely want to improve there, and we would definitely want to go to the next level in that side.
Thank you, Anshul. Thank you very much from my end. Honestly, a very, 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 very informative session. And I'm surely that I'm going to take this back to the product house one way or the other. But over to you, Khushbu. And thank you again for nailing this.
Thank you, Adarsh, for moderating. Thank you so much, Anshul. Wonderful insights, and it's great to know that PNB Housing Finance has developed a lot of advanced technologies from a digital transformation perspective to provide customer experience. I think glad to know, and I think wonderful insights for our viewers as well. Thank you so much once again for joining us today and sharing your journey with us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.